Mr. Martin PE9TIG. My middle name is Budget, small budget, and that's it. KB9OAK. Hiya there, thank you for joining us. He's just given us a thumbs up. So put your call sign in the comments, say hello, let me know you're watching. And this is the worldwide digital analog ham net. And I am Net Control for tonight on the Freestar Network. And we are talking about how to do ham radio on a budget. Oscar's there, 5'9", thank you sir. We are talking about how to do ham radio on a budget, and we want your recommendations, what you would recommend on a budget. Does ham radio have to be on a budget? Does radios and aerials and stuff have to be cheap? Why not just get the best one that does everything? Blimey, we've got loads of stuff to discuss. So put your call sign in the comments if you haven't already. Let me know you're watching. Mr. Jimbo, good evening all. G1JSP. Jimbo, my internet is very good at the moment. I don't want to speak too soon, but my internet is pretty good. Richard Bird, is it Richard BVJD? Sorry, Richard BVJD M7RJB watching. Oscar, hello Jimbo. Oscar, my budget is also very small. Good. I hope you can pick up some tips and give some tips. So we're going live on the Freestar Network as Net Control, and this is a sort of interactive net where I'm Net Control, but you can see what we're if someone recommends a 7100, I'll bring it up on the screen. We can show stuff. John Burns reflecting me, he's there in the comments. Hi John. Nah, James, yeah, I'm pretty confident amateur radio UK. James JECS M6 JLM. James logged in. Awesome, Jay. Is that James that I met up on Dunstable Downs? Sorry, I'm very bad with call signs and names. I think that's James. Is that James I met up on Dunstable Downs? Yep, used equipment and also borrow stuff. See someone's radio working, see if you like it before you invest. So we are going live in 1 minute, in just 1 minute, and we're talking about ham radio on a budget. How can you do it? Believe it or not, I started out with just one handheld. Look at them all on the shelf, all the nice handhelds. Yeah, just reading that, Jimbo. I was guy on Dunstable Downs. Yeah. Yeah, of course you were, mate. Oh, Jimbo's great. He's enjoying that gin, I think. Anyway, we're going live in 30 seconds, and we're talking about budget. Ham radio on a budget. What should you buy cheap? Should you be cheap? I never recommend the latter. Anyway, going live, stand by. Put your call sign in the comments, say hello. Okay, so we're just going live. Randy Gideon, hello there, from California. KN6BZG, Brett Bell checking in, hello, 2E0HFW. So we're having a bit of fun tonight. We're doing a live stream, and hopefully the internet's okay tonight. You know, really do. I've had problems with the internet, and my ISP has assured me it's been fixed, so hopefully it'll be okay. We've got John there, M7CPT amateur radio on the air. I won an MD380. Unfortunately, there is no DMR repeater in my area. Is there another way I can get this radio working on DMR? Yes, and it's super cheap. You just need a hotspot. You need a DMR hotspot. Send me an email, John. I'll help you choose one. You need a hotspot. You know, you can £30–40. Not very, you know. Is the audio okay? Video okay? Just put it in the comments. Let me know it's okay. Kevin Armstrong is saying hello from Oklahoma. Awesome. Oklahoma. That sounds so exotic. Oklahoma compared to UK. Right. KB9OAK, also OAK, also in how do you say that? Wisconsin. VA4 SMC hotspot. He's saying hotspot. Martin 59 John amateur radio on the air. Cool. Audio video 59. Good. There's a question mark in between, but I hope that means it's okay. Audio and video okay. Reflecting me. Smash the like button. Yes. Anyway, we are going live. I am net control in 7 minutes, and I've wrote down a few things. So, this is my take on ham radio, how to do ham radio on a budget. Randy Gideon saying hello to Oscar. Right. Get all the free stuff you can. Get Echolink. That's free. You know, register for Echolink. Register for Peanuts. Get Zello and get DroidStar. It's all free. You might not initially think it's real radio, but you can talk about radio and you can learn stuff. And you can learn call signs. That's most important. So get all that stuff. Get an email address. You know, I'm 2E0UKH@gmail.com. Get an email where you can just say to someone, send me an email, you know, roll off your call sign at gmail.com or Hotmail or whatever. You know, find one that works. Get all the free software you can. You know, Jimbo told me to get WSJTX for all the digital modes, and get NetLogger. Get NetLogger for login software. That's free. I mean, there's many more free pieces of software you can get. So yeah, at gstring.com. Yeah, roger on that, Jimbo. Christopher Tanner's there, KD7ONF. So get all the free software you can. You know, software includes apps. You know, on your phone, apps are applications. They're still software. And the excellent paid software, yes, by John, reflecting me. Have you got any free stuff yet? Is it all reflecting me? Feel free to put a link to your any of the stuff you're doing, your apps. We've got an app developer, John. Eddie Essex in the house. Hi, Chris. Right. I'm running out of time here. 5 minutes, we're going live. I suppose we can go over a bit. Is Bruce there in the comments? And Shane, I know Oscar is. So handhelds, you know, this is the big one. I've done an EMF app. Awesome. I'm struggling with that EMF. I know that we haven't got till November. Right, handhelds. The handheld, you know, the cheapest. Does it have to be the cheapest? If you think you're not going to enjoy it, you don't want to spend a fortune on it. So you know, I've narrowed it down to 3 radios to for handheld radios. Handheld radios. Yes, put it in the comments. You know, what free software is out there? What are you using that's free? Handheld radios, right? So Retivis RT23. I have just very fortunately been sent two Retivis RT23s. They're boxed with chargers. Two Retivis RT23s. They've got a proper volume and channel knob. They're less than $50. They've got a band A and a band B transmit. They've got repeater mode. You can use them as a repeater. You can send them up on a, you can put them in a high. I was going to say up on a drone. That wouldn't be legal in the UK, but you can put them on a high spot in between you and someone else and use it as a repeater. It's got simultaneous receive on band A and band B. Now, Retivis asked me if I would like to try them out and test them out, and I said yes, because I've actually been eyeing them up. I'm very interested in them. They're very good radio. So that's my first recommendation, RT23. Second one is the FT4X, which is a Yaesu. I've just purchased one of them this week. I went to Moonraker. And the UV, of course, it's got to have the UV5R, but it doesn't have to be the UV5R. There's nothing good about the UV5R apart from the price. It's hard to program, but it's just an absolute bargain. It's still brilliant. It's an absolute bargain, but the main good thing is the price. The filtering's poor, the programming's hard. It's harder than the others. Anyway, we're going to run out of time here. So HF sets, I was going to say UBitX, the UBitX 40 HF transceiver. UBitX 3 to 30 megs, up to 10 watts. And another HF set, the G90, the Radiodity G90. That's a very good radio. It's a high quality ham HF on a budget. It's got a tuner in it. It's got a fantastic graph feature for the auto ATU. Aerials, build your own aerials. HF, make a dipole, make a 9-to-1 Ballum, make a 49-to-1. Right, just reading the comments. Martin, listen, look, learn. Alliance HS1, Alliance HD1. Oh, you're saying HS. There's the HD one, which is the handheld, and the HS2 is it? That's the HF transceiver. Anyway, I'm not going to have time to read all my notes down, read them out, so we are going to go live. I'm Net Control 2E0 UKH. I'm sort of trying to, the HF one, it's the HS2. I think it's the HS2, Alliance HS2. Anyway, I'm just trying to get you motivated. Clear to start the net? Okay, Oscar. I'm just trying to get you guys motivated to call in on the net. The question is, how do you do ham radio on a budget? That is the question. How do you, the people listening, I want everybody watching, this is good information. M6JLM, I'm saving for the G90, yes. It's a super radio. Bring on Mr. Motivator. Yeah, well, I'm not going to do any exercises, but I'll be motivating people in other ways. Right, I'm going to pick up my radio. It's a good start, and all star, 3-star is clear.
Is it too early for me to check in? And so, could you go ahead and check me in, and I just listen on the side? Norm in Minnesota. Thank you.
Yeah, stand by at that station, stand by. Chris will just start the net and call you in for check-in. 2E1HWE.
Okay, this is Net Control. I am Chris, 2E0UKH. I am Net Control for tonight. Let me just check I've got the key. Okay, this net tonight is provided by Freestar, and thank you to all the partners on the system, on All-Star, and all the different nodes and repeaters. You know, obviously far too many to mention. And this net is quite not futuristic, but it's very forward thinking, and this net goes out live on YouTube on digital analog ham. Let me just unkey. So that's digital analog ham on YouTube. Right, there was a station that called before the net started, and no, you weren't too early to log in, so let me just take the first station. That's awesome. Someone called in before the net started. So I'm Net Control. I am Chris, 2E0UKH. So that station, please go with your call sign, say it a few times, and your operator name. John, amateur radio on the air. The Micro BitX will cost about the same as a G90.
Late afternoon. Good late afternoon. This is Norm from Minnesota. N0TGF. I'm just a technician.
TGF.
So that's where it lies. I'm using my smartphone. I'm on the Echo Link or the Wake network. So that's where it lies. I'm sitting on my prison rug, drinking my nice hot cup of coffee, enjoying the wave of the air. So that's where
very
it lies.
Good, sir.
Back to Net Control.
Yeah, okay, Don, got you. You're first on the list. How about that? You're first on the list tonight. Don N0TGF. You're on Echo Link. Awesome. Anyway, so we are taking check-ins tonight. You know, we're talking about how do you do ham radio on a budget? Are you on a budget? Should a first radio for a ham radio operator be on a budget? Should it be cheap? Should it be inexpensive in case someone doesn't like the hobby? You know, have you done your homework? You know, you've looked into the hobby, you look all the different facets and different ways you can do radio. Should it be best to get one radio that does everything? One radio that does everything, you know, an 857, a 991A, an ICOM 70, is it 706, something like that. Anyway, we're taking calls. How do you do ham radio on a budget, or how would you recommend other people do it? So this is Net Control. I am 2E0UKH on the worldwide digital analog ham net, and I'm going to leave a little pause in case there's any emergency traffic, and then I'm going to call in stations all around the world, you know, with the question tonight. Ham radio on a budget. So just leave a little pause. Let's say 5-10 seconds gap for any emergency traffic, and then I'll start logging call signs. So let's just stand by for any emergency traffic. You know, I have had emergency traffic before.
Should we go to 400 something and away from this nonsense?
Someone very disrespectful there. Yeah, the person talking nonsense, please clear off. We don't want any of that on here. Right, we are taking calls on the subject about what is how do you do ham radio on a budget? Go ahead, log in call signs. Go now, please. 2E0 UKH.
Mike 7, Bravo, Quebec, Charlie. Mike 7, Bravo, Quebec, Charlie. Peter, Sean Corey, County Durham.
Peter there.
Mike 6, Charlie, Mike Golf, name of Mick, Mike India Charlie 0, City of Lincoln.
Liberty Cave, hi there. JWS, hiya. Mutters, got ya. Todd's there, 7100. Okay, got 3 calls there. Don, Peter and Mick. Yeah, budget a little bit more. Right, I'm just going to go back to these stations. Okay, Don, N0 TGF, go ahead. It's 2E0 UKH, net control for tonight. Go ahead.
This is Norm, N0 TGF in Minnesota. If you ask me, my opinion is, it's like getting a pair of shoes. You want the best shoes that it fits comfortably and it will do the job that you need. If you look at that away, back control.
Yeah, sorry Norm, I did get the name wrong. I don't have the best hearing in the world, and I thought it was I wrote it down. I wrote it down as I heard it, but on All Star, on it cuts off a bit of the first word, if you key up too quick. But I really like your enthusiasm. You called in before the net has started, so it's always best to over budget to get something over budget. But is there any particular radios or anything, any tips you would give to beginners before we move on to the next caller? Yeah, are you still there? N0 TGF on Echolink 2E0 UKH net control. Any further comments? Any other suggestions how you would do ham radio on a budget? Any radios to recommend? Over to you, Norm. And sorry for getting your name wrong.
Well, in my opinion, the Japanese radio is a little bit better than the Chinese radios. But, it depends on, like I said, it depends on who's got the money and what they're going to spend it on. And it's like I said, it's like a pair of shoes. If you want a decent pair of shoes, you're going to pay a little bit of more money. And if you want a cheap pair of shoes, you pay less money. So, that is my answer to that question there. And back to you, net control.
Yeah, okay, well that is a very good answer, and I appreciate that, but get the best one you can afford. Get the best one you can afford, that are most comfortable, that work, in other words, that work well. But in ham radio, there's loads of stuff you can do for free. You can get Echolink, Peanut. It might not be RF your side, it might be the other side, but it's free, and you can talk about ham radio. You've got all this free computer software. WSJTX digital stuff. There's lots of things nowadays you can do for free. Anyway, thank you for your contribution tonight, and thank you for checking in before the net started. Really appreciate. We've never had that before, so that's awesome. So we're going to hand it over to Peter next, M7BQC. M7BQC. This is Chris, Net Control 2E0UKH. So how would you do ham radio on a budget? Have you done ham radio on a budget? Does ham radio have to be cheap? You know, when you're getting your first radio, you might not like it. You might need, you might want to, you don't want to spend a lot of money. Or should you buy a radio that does everything? That does every band all in one box? So over to you, Peter. M7BQC from Net Control 2E0UKH. Yeah, okay, well, can leave a little pause because I got super motivated by what you said. Start simple. That's a very, I never thought of that. That's a very, I'm going to make a note of that. Start simple. You know, also start with the least amount of outlay, you know, the least amount of money spent. I mean, in my list, did you notice I started with the free stuff? Start with the free stuff, the easy to use, and then progress on to actual hardware. You know, get a Baofeng, or not a Baofeng, you know, get an RT23. An RT23 is a $50 radio, you know, about £35–40. It's got repeater mode on it, it's got proper dual A and B line, you know, you can hear two different lines together. It's got two different transmit buttons. It's a lot better than the UV5R. You've got the Yaesu FT4X, you know. So anyway, you've talked about the free stuff, Peter. Have you got any hardware suggestions for anyone to try from Net Control? How's the video tonight on the internet? Okay. Liberty Cave. I've just bought the FT4X. I'm trying to find it, I can't find it.
Any radio that transmits, that, you know, lets you talk, lets you receive, will do. As long as you can afford it, you're not breaking your bank to get it.
That is a brilliant point. Cheap coax is a waste of money. Absolutely, man. Mr. Northwest Ham Shack.
It's something that you can afford. And if you like, back to you, Chris, from M7BQC.
No, Jimbo, I'm the one that needs help. Yeah, well, you should get the free stuff. You should get the free stuff. By the way, this is Net Control 2E0 UKH. Get the free stuff, and then you should start with the lower cost stuff. You know, take recommendations from friends. Jimbo and Oscar were saying, try a radio out, see if you like it. And anyway, there was someone else called when you first called in there, Peter. There was someone else calling in with you. So thank you so much for your contributions tonight. I am Net Control 2E0 UKH, and I'll take it over to my next station, who is Mike 6 CMG, Mike 6 Charlie Mike Golf, Mick. Let's just check. Mick is there. This is Net Control 2E0 UKH. Yeah, I just got one word. When you key up, please leave a little 5-second gap, 3 or 4 second gap before you key up. Otherwise, it cuts off the first part of the over. So try again. Looking for Mick, M6 CMG. Go ahead.
CMG, I'm back. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm getting used to a new radio. I'm probably a little bit quick on the microphone, but you.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We're all dying to know what radio you've got. So you're very quiet to me, by the way, because you've got a bit of white noise. So if you could just speak a bit louder or nearer. You know, this is a net. It's going all around the world. But we're all dying to know what new radio you've got. So just fill us in. What have you just purchased?
Yeah, it's just a cheap second hand, because I'm a returning operator, so I'm probably the ideal one for this. I'm returning back. I've just got myself a nice little cheap 817, fair enough, it's only 5 watts, but it gets me back on the back. That's anything else I bought a half-wave end-fed wire.
Yeah.
And some decent coax.
This is how you connect to Freestar if anyone would like to call in.
I've got a tuner that I had from previous. And thankfully I didn't have to purchase for that. So all I've had to buy out for is the 817, the antenna and the coax. Back to you.
Yeah, okay, very good. This is Net Control 2E0 UKH. Right, the 817. That is an absolute classic radio that has been going. I think they've been producing them for 20 years, and they stopped producing it, and they released was it the 818? And it didn't go down too well. It wasn't many improvements, you know. Not sure if you saw the 818. You know, that was not very well received. You know, for the amount of money it was nothing special. But no one is forcing us to buy these. But the 817, that was a classic, and it's interesting. You're saying it's a cheap radio, and it's not in terms of handhelds, but it is when you consider it does every single band. HF, VHF, UHF, virtually all modes, all in one package. So anyway, any other tips there, Mick, how other people listening to the net can do ham radio on a budget? Anything we haven't discussed?
M6 CMG returning. I think that's covered it. think that's fully covered. Back to you.
Yeah, okay. Well, I always let people have their say, and their opinion. This is all about our opinion, not what we're told. It's about what we actually really think, and what we've learnt over the years. Other people have taught us stuff and recommended stuff, and hopefully it's been good advice. Right, thank you for calling in, Mick. This is Net Control 2E0 UKH. That was the first round of check-ins. If anyone else would like to check in, feel free to call in. Say your call sign and operator name, and I'll get you down in the log. If someone has got no traffic, you haven't got any, anything to add, but you would just like to call in and see yourself or hear yourself on the YouTube, Digital Analog Ham Net on YouTube. You don't have to actually have a point. You can just call. You can just say, if you just say your call sign, just say your call sign, and then no need to reply. And I will make a note of it if you would just like to get yourself in the logbook. So what we're talking about tonight is how would you do ham radio on a budget, or what advice would you give other people to do ham radio on a budget? This is Net Control 2E0 UKH. Listening.
Mike 7 Alpha Golf Andrew, Northwest England.
Mike 7 Alpha Golf. Okay, any more stations calling? We're asking the question tonight. How would you do ham radio on a budget? What would you recommend to other people? This is Net Control 2E0 UKH. Please go ahead with your suggestions.
Tango X-Ray Kilo. My name's Alex and I'm in Lansing in West Sussex.
Okay, this is Net Control. I got two stations there. We got M7 Alpha Golf. Didn't catch the operator name, and I got Alex, the next operator, who is something Tango X-Ray Kilo. So always remember to leave a few second gap before you transmit, because All-Star does have the tendency with latency and buffer, it cuts out the first part of the call sign or the first part of whatever you say. So over to Mike 7 Alpha Golf. This is Net Control 2E0 UKH. Listening. So reading the comments, Liberty Cave, cheap options of coax antennas are the worst.
The call sign actually is Mike 7 Alpha Golf.
Alpha Golf. Got it.
M7AGG. Yeah, this is a subject quite close to my heart because
Oscar, my weekend is going good, thanks, Nick.
Years, and I've spent a lot of money on this hobby, and to be honest, I've probably used a very small portion of what I've bought, and I could have saved a lot of money. In fact, a lot of the points I wanted to make have already been mentioned. Most of the time I use network radios. I'm talking on the Enrico T200 at the moment via Echolink. So I mostly use Echolink Peanut. I'm also active on Zello. And I think this is the best way if someone wants to start in the hobby, obviously being M7, to download onto the smartphone even. Echolink, use that. But that's obviously all been stated
Yeah, Roger Oscar.
Because with CW, you don't need
Thank you for the reminder.
expensive or powerful radio. 5 or 10 watt radio is sufficient, and you can get all around the world. So I'm learning CW as an M7, and I have an FT818, which has already been mentioned. There's also the 817.
Very popular
Very
radio.
little difference between them. You can get them second hand quite reasonable now, just a few £100. And with CW, and learn how to make your own end-fed half-wave antenna. A 49-to-1 on. You can make both in about half an hour to an hour, and you're on the air. And with CW, with the watts, I think it's the 818 pushes 6 watts. I mean, that's like a 50 watt transceiver in CW. If you wanted to upgrade, I've also got the IC705. That's a 10 watt radio. That's like 100 watts SSB if you're using.
Mr. Andrew Kinch, Brian McKay, Amateur Radio UK.
Well, what I'm doing is for voice mode. I'm using
This guy is just hit the talk out timer. So that's M7AGG. M7AGG, are you just checking you can hear me?
Then for actual
Right, he's off
radio,
again.
if you want to call it that, the RF. I'm learning CW, and that will be my main mode in HF bands. So if you took that route, you would save yourself a lot.
Yeah, well, he
of
stayed
money.
transmitting. He didn't even know he was going over the
back to
timer.
Net Control. This is Mike 7 Alpha Golf M7 AGG. My name's Andrew. I'm in Blackburn in Lancashire, North West England.
Yeah, got you, Andrew, in Blackburn in Lancashire. I've corrected the call sign M7AGG. Well, thank you for the information. And that 817, 818, it keeps resurfacing, doesn't it, in our net? It's like I said earlier, it's a radio that does everything. I just unkeyed because someone said he's still talking. I think there's a bit of latency. But anyway, anything further to add, and then I'm going to ask for any new hams to call in, even if they can't answer the question, just to get them on the logbook. So any further comments there, Andrew? M7 AGG from Net Control 2E0UKH.
I think I'm okay now. There was another station as well that I think called in, but no, I just think personally, as an M7, I think one of the best things you can do if you want to be cost saving is learn CW, because you don't need a powerful radio, and you can get all around the world with just a few watts, even low sunspot cycle. So not just the 818, but also the LNR mounting topper. It's like it's the size of a pack of playing cards, and it's a fantastic little radio. I've got one of those as well. And so as soon as I get more confident with CW, that and the 818 will be probably my main, and of course the 705 will be my main radios. But I'll be my course of action is on HF. I'll use CW. I've got a little handheld for obviously my 2 meters 70 sems for local repeaters,
and then most of my worldwide voice modes will be digital, and that will save you a lot of money. So that's my contribution. But I'll pass it back to the net and have a really good evening. This is Mike 7, Alpha Golf Golf.
Yeah, okay, Andrew. Thank you very much for calling in with your contribution. Always appreciate it when people take the time to call in. Not everyone wants to be in the first. People don't want to call in first in the net, but you know, as the net gets going, you know, people get enthusiastic and they like to call in. But anyway, thank you so much for calling in. Right, the next station we've got is Alex. I didn't get the first part, but it's something Tango X-Ray Kilo, and I do recognise the voice. I'm sure he's called in before. So Alex, please go ahead. This is Net Control. I am Chris 2E0UKH. Go ahead, sir.
UKH, this is Mike 7, Tango X-Ray Kilo. Hi Chris, yeah, I've called in before. Regarding, you know, like a beginner's radio, I started off with the ubiquitous UV5R. Didn't really see a lot of use, to be perfectly honest with you. I then got an Anytone 868 and a hotspot that was, for a beginner, was an absolute nightmare to set up, I have to say. It was a mission to get it going. Once it was going, I enjoyed that. And then about 3 weeks ago, I bought
Brian McKay. Soon as I win the contest, I'll call in.
Which I'm using right now.
Feel free to call in on Echolink, Brian. We've always got time for you.
It might be a bit expensive for a beginner, but if you can afford it, I would definitely recommend getting hold of one. As far as base stations go, I've got absolutely no idea because I'm just using handhelds at the moment. But I imagine for me, I'd probably maybe get a 991A or something like that. But
that's what I'm using.
I'm enjoying using the FD3D. It's a great little radio. And yeah, the Anytone's a great radio as well, about half the price. So yeah, back to you.
Yeah, well, that is awesome. That is awesome. Your advice is different to anyone else's, but I totally endorse what you've said. I'm just showing on the screen on the YouTube on digital analog ham. On my monitor, the FT3D. I've got an FT3D. I've got a 991A, and I've got an Anytone. And they're all good in different ways. If you had to have one that does everything, it would be the 991A. But anyway, it's awesome that you have, you know, you've made a recommendation. You know, did someone, when you chose your first radios, Alex, did someone help you? Did someone help you choose, or did you just go into it blind, you know, without any idea? Back to you, Alex, from Net Control, 2E0UKH.
UKH M7TXK. Yeah, I think it was basically, I originally started off listening on scanners and things like that, and I kind of found my way into the hobby via watching some of Lewis Ringway Manchester's videos. And I heard like UV5R sort of mentioned, so I bought one of them because it was only cheap. And then I think I watched maybe a couple of your videos, and someone else mentioned the Anytone. The Anytone I actually bought off Mike Lewis. I think it's M0XMX. I bought his Anytone 868 and his hotspot off of him. I think you might have actually had something to do with setting it up for him.
I did.
And then I watched a couple more videos about the FT3D, and some people had said about the audio and it wasn't that good. And I thought, well,
Oscar, call in about the audio.
Right, no, I'm going to do it. I want to buy it, and that was it because it's really good. So I wasn't really blind as such, but it wasn't from experience. It was just basically things like YouTube and you guys that I've watched and listened to over the past few months. So yeah, thanks for the recommendations. Yeah, back to you.
Yeah, well, okay, well that's awesome. That is awesome. You know, you've mentioned a few important things there. You know, you mentioned the FT3D, the audio. You know, it's a very difficult game to play. You know, giving your opinion on something, because someone else's opinion is always different. You know, I haven't got the best hearing. Someone with the best hearing might think it sounds better. Someone with worse hearing than me might think it's even worse. But you can't make everyone happy. But what you can do is be honest. And you know, the FT3D, I said the audio one, it was terrible. It's one of the best fusion radios there is, but I thought the audio sounded terrible. Especially when you've got the cheaper one. I've got the FT70. Anyway, I don't want this to be a rant. This is a friendly net where everyone is welcome. Any further comments before we hand it over to the next stations? And by the way, after this call, we're going to take it over to new hams. We're going to put a call out for new hams, people that have either not made their first call or would like to make one of their first few. So any further comments? Go ahead, Alex.
TXK. No, that's me done. I think we've covered everything there. I've said what I've got and what I hope to get in the future, and I'm enjoying the hobby and I'm enjoying the work that you guys are putting out. So yeah, leave it on to the next person, and
yeah, thanks, man.
Let's get the evening going. Back to you.
Awesome. Yeah, okay, well that is awesome. That is awesome. Thank you for calling in, you know, and everyone for their contribution. So many different opinions and thoughts, you know, and they're all different, but they're all right in their own way. But anyway, I'm going to put a call out for any new hams, anyone that wants to make their first ever contact on ham radio. It doesn't matter if you have an answer for the question we're asking tonight. We've got to be talking about something, so for that reason, you know, we've got the subject, how would you do ham radio on a budget? So it doesn't have to be an answer to that. If there's someone new that would like to make their first call, we would be delighted to take that call. Or if someone is a new ham and has made a few calls, feel free to call in, either answer the question or talk about being a new ham. This is Net Control 2E0UKH. Listening. Andrew Kinch, sort your background out. I'm showing people, Andrew, that you don't need to have an incredible setup, you know, trying to encourage people to make their own YouTube channel. You know, it can be done with a bit of effort. You can get it to look like this. Okay, nothing heard. This is Net Control 2E0UKH. We are asking people their opinions. How would you do ham radio on a budget? You know, given hindsight, given the fact that you are now a ham, what would you recommend to people? Would you recommend to get a cheap Baofeng UV5R like 99% of people say, or think out of the box? Get a HF set, HF, VHF, UHF, something that does everything. Would you recommend using some of these free apps? You know, put it in the comments. This is awesome. Anyway, Net Control 2E0UKH. Just log in call signs. Anyone that can answer these questions and advise other people. Listening.
M7 on.
M7 with the RPG. I didn't quite. It sounded like M7 RPG. Was that correct? Please go again with your call sign.
It's M7 RDG. Apologies if I'm coming through less than 5 and 9, so to speak. I am having problems with the technology tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, your audio's fine. It's me. It's my ears. It's my old ears. So it's not your end. It's mine. It's the way I interpret what you're saying. So M7RGG, Romeo Golf Golf. Is that correct? RDG. Okay.
It's Mike 7, Romeo Delta Golf. Romeo Delta Golf. That's you.
Yeah, got you there. M7RDG. Yeah, apologies about that. It's my hearing. And it's because you were a little bit loud to me and it sounded distorted, and that was a good example of what we said earlier. You know, different people hear things differently. Anyway, have you got anything to contribute on the subject? You know, how would you do ham radio on a budget? Did you do ham radio on a budget? What would you recommend to other people? Hardware, software, you know, how to get started. And, you know, in hindsight, what was the best advice you could give other people? Back to you.
Thank you, M7. The best advice I would give is to buy the cheap handheld. You know, spend, I think it's a rite of passage to buy the cheap handheld, whatever cheap means to you, and just keep that, and then join a club. And with amateur radio clubs, they tend to have, well, some have kit that they lend out to new hams or to anyone who wants to borrow it. They have like an inventory of different radios. And I'm a member of two clubs, and they both have a variety of kit, you know, from handhelds to mobile rigs and even HF equipment that you can borrow. And I would take advantage of that, you know, and borrow these things.
Borrow, yeah, borrow is a good idea.
What you don't like, you may find something is beyond you when you get it, maybe a bit too overwhelming. So rather than having spent the money and going
very
down
good
that
advice,
dead
yeah,
end,
borrow.
you just take it back to the club. You may find that something maybe
Harry Paul, not
too
new
easy to use.
to RF Com's very cheap
Maybe
station.
lack certain features that you wish you had, but now you've got
LF25G, works for most
experience.
bands. MM7.
You can say, well, actually, I need in addition to what I've got in this box. So
Yeah, good
gives
advice
you an
there, Paul.
ability
Jimbo,
to-
John S.
to
Nice
have a
Martin.
taste
Nice
of what's
Marina.
to come and
in
make
your
a more
hometown, bud.
informed choice when you get to the shop or the
Yes, Jimbo gave a load of gear to the Sea
website,
Cadets.
or even a rally where you can actually pick up if your budget with some bargains. And normally, if you buy something from a club table, they will probably come in with a bit of freebie support. So if something's not quite right, they will probably help you out. Probably better than actually some of the.
Okay, Harry Paul, thank you for listening. Hope to hear from you later, my friend.
I see Chris from 7 RDG.
Yeah, okay, M7 RDG. This is Net Control 2E0 UKH. Yes, well, you've raised so many good points there. I mean, you know, someone said in the comments, you know, one of the best things to do is buy second-hand equipment. If you buy second-hand, as long as it's working, if you find the hobby's not for you, you can sell it for about the same price, give or take 5%. You can sell it for the same price you bought it for. And there's no expense. So lots and lots of good advice out there, and get the best thing you can afford. Get what if you can actually afford to spend $50, £50 on a handheld, don't try and be cheap and spend $10, because you're going to be disappointed. So spend as much as you can, to buy something that is quality. Anyway, back to you for any further comments. Oscar, are you going to call in about the FT3D and the audio quality? It'd be interesting.
WWDAH Net. Returning. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, you can have the best rig in the planet, but if your antenna's poorly sighted, got a poor run of coax to it, you're not going to get out, even if you've got a £10,000 station. So, yeah, invest in the best coax you can afford, and antennas as well, just be prepared to change those and enjoy the experimentation. That's it, that's my final comment.
Yeah, remove the rubber lung, you're right, Jimbo.
Thanks for running the net tonight. Thanks to you.
These are all the nodes connected tonight. Many more going out the bottom of the screen. Yeah, okay, well, thank you for calling in. Anyway, we're going to take some further calls. Thank you, M7RDG, Romeo Delta Golf. Anyway, this is Net Control. I am Chris, 2E0UKH for the ID. And this is the Worldwide Digital Analog Ham Net. And we are going out all around the world. And we are asking the question tonight. We are asking the question, how would you do ham radio on a budget? How would you recommend to other people to get involved in ham radio without spending much money? What would you recommend? You might recommend a radio that does everything, every band in one, a shack in a box, a radio that does everything, every single band and mode. So please go ahead and give us your suggestions, and give a few seconds before you key up. This is Net Control, 2E0UKH. Reading the comments, Oscar saying yes, he's going to call in. Ask Jimbo, how much power using on handheld?
Echo, 2E1HWE, Oscar, Essex Riviera.
2E1HWE. I'm only using half a watt, less than half a watt. Very low power on the FT3D. I do need a few more people to call in, or I'll call the net short. Don't want to call it short. Jimbo, can you call in? Okay, I've got Oscar, but another station keyed up just at the end there. The other station just at the end there. Can you give your call sign? 2E0UKH. M6JLM GB3MK isn't connected tonight. Yes, that's a shame.
Mate 7 Whiskey Alpha Bravo Portable Paul in Yorkshire in Scotland.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Awesome, Paul, got you there. So I've got Oscar and Paul. Any other stations want to contribute on the net? We are talking about how would you do ham radio on a budget. And okay, Oscar's going to call in on 3 different radios. Very interesting. Right, so the question is, how would you guys do ham radio on a budget? What was your best advice when you first got started? Anyway, this is Net Control, 2E0UKH. Listening for any further calls.
The name is Victor in the northeast of Scotland.
Victor Didn't get the call sign. Okay. Yeah, okay, I got Victor. Anyway, listening for any further calls. Didn't get your call sign, Victor. I'll ask you for it in a minute, so don't reply now. Any further calls, and then we'll take it back to Oscar. So, listening for any further calls. Net Control 2E0 UKH. Yeah, okay, Oscar. Jimbo, sorry.
7 Delta Mike Zulu in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Delta Mike Zulu. Was it Argentina? Awesome. Okay, the station in Argentina. We did get you in at the end there. Anyway, let's take it over to Oscar. Oscar called in 2E1HWE. Go ahead, Oscar. And I believe you're going to try 3 different radios. So this is what. Have you got a guess the radio challenge, or guess which is the cheap radio challenge? Not sure what you're asking me. Go ahead.
One Hotel Whiskey Echo, and hello to everyone on the worldwide digital analog hand net this evening. I thought just for fun we'd do a little experiment, because we're talking about handhelds on the budget, and then obviously, more expensive. So I thought, why don't I call in on a couple of different radios very briefly and see if anyone can guess what they are. I thought it'd be a little bit of fun. This is the litmus test. At the moment, I'm coming through neutrally on Echolink, okay? So I just want to, balance things out. So this is Echolink at the moment, okay, on an iPhone 8. So this is kind of like gives you an example of what that sounds like. So if you haven't got any budget at all, and you want to do it on a telephone, I thought this would be interesting to say this is the audio quality, iPhone 8 on Echolink. So on the next over, I'll come back. I'm not going to tell you what radio I'm going to come back on first, but if you permit me, I'll have 2 more overs, please. I'll come back on one radio first, and then the last final over, I'll come back on the last radio, and then it'd be interesting to see if you notice any difference. So over to you, Chris, and then I'll turn on the first radio. 2E0 UKH from 2 Echo 1 Hotel Whiskey Echo.
Yeah, okay, this is Net Control. This is Chris, 2E0 UKH, Net Control for tonight. Now, I know what radios you've got, so I'm not going to comment, but I will take 1 round of calls. So he's going to try 3 radios. He's going to call in 3 times. The first one is Echolink on a phone, so don't reply and say what that is. We know what the first one is. He's on a phone. He's made a reference point, which is something that, Echolink is crystal clear on an iPhone. So that's what he's saying. That's what it should sound like. On his next call, which will be call number 2, it will be another radio, and I believe there's a third one. So go ahead with radio number 2.
So this is the radio I'm going on first. So hopefully we're sounding okay on this 54321 12345 2 Echo 1 Hotel Whiskey Echo. I'm just going to turn on the next radio. Stand by. Whiskey Echo on the final radio. This is the final audio test on the next handheld radio. 2 Echo 1 Hotel Whiskey Echo. Hand it back to Net Control for analysis.
Yeah, 2E1HWE. This is Net Control. This is Chris, 2E0 UKH. This is going out on Freestar and All-Star all over the world. And so first one was Echolink on iPhone. Nice, loud and clear, perfect, as you would expect. And there was 2. I mean, I know what radios you've got and what you've received from our friends. So I'm not going to say. So we'll call it radio 2 and 3. So I'm going to take one round of calls guessing what radio 2 and 3 are. So Andrew Kinch is saying that second one. So the second one is 3. So we need to know what, we need your guesses what radio 2 and 3 are. So taking call signs on which radios were best, 2 and 3, and which sounded the best, and what guesses, what radios you think they were. Taking call signs. Please log in, please.
I think one was a Dolphin and the other one was a BNE2 and 878.
Didn't get the call sign.
CMG. I haven't got a clue what the manufacturers are of them, but the final one for me, the audio sounded crisper, clearer to me.
Okay, any further stations, please leave a few seconds gap. I've got someone that said Baofeng and 878. Someone said he hasn't got a clue, but I didn't get the call sign. So please leave a little gap before you transmit, because All-Star does chop off the first part. So any further calls, guessing what radios 2 and 3 were, and which was better. CMG.
Getting used to this again. I couldn't tell you which the radios were, but I thought the third one sounded clearer, crisper, nice, better audio.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, well we're going to have one round of calling in about the radios, and it seems to be a general consensus, everyone agreeing that the second and third radio sounded better. Remember, the first one was iPhone. So always remember when calling into net control, leave a few seconds gap, or it cuts off the first part of the conversation of the over. So the station that said Baofeng and then second one was 878. Please go ahead. I didn't catch your call sign. Not your fault. It's just the way the system, the All-Star system operates. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, apologies on that, Chris. It was M7BQC. I think the second one was a Bovan, and the other one was the 878. But to me, the one on the iPhone sounded better on the Echo Link itself.
Yeah, well, you are correct. I mean, an iPhone coming in over Echolink is a lot wider bandwidth, and the Echolink codec does sound very good. So yes, that is always the best. Calling in on an internet link, as long as that internet is good, it's always the best. So so 2 and 3 you thought were Baofeng and 878. Okay, right. So we're going to go over to the next caller, who was now I did not get all the call sign, because remember, you've got to key up after you've left a little gap, otherwise it cuts off the first bit. Someone said something Mike Golf, and he said he hasn't got a clue, and that's all I got. I heard a little snippet of someone's over. He said something Mike Golf. He said he hasn't got a clue what radio. So if that was you that said those things, please go again. This is Net Control. And then we'll get your call sign and get you in the logbook.
CMG, yeah, I'm coming in on the Baofeng this time. I don't have a clue what the radios were or anything, but I thought the third one sounded a lot clearer, crisper. I like the audio on the third one better.
Yeah, very good point, very good point. A lot of people have said that. You know, we've got a lot of people watching and listening, and the first one was the iPhone, you know, Echo Link. We know that's going to sound good. The second one was a little bit quiet, and the third one was a bit louder. So they were all pretty good apart from the second one. You know, the first radio. The first one was iPhone, second one was the one that was a bit quieter. Very interesting. So you haven't got a clue. That's good. But you've indicated which one you think is the best. Anyway, moving on to the next caller. And this can take up a lot of time going through all the callers, but we're just having a bit of fun. It's a Saturday night. You know, and we're just chilling out. We're getting people, we're trying to motivate people to key up and get on the radio, have a bit of fun. So, going over to the last caller, M7 CMG, go ahead. Yeah, I might have got the call sign wrong, but it was someone that called in. I recognised the voice from earlier. It was someone that called in earlier. Something M7 CMG, something like that. If half of that is correct, go ahead, please. I'm sure it was. Yes, it was someone that called in earlier. But all I got was M7 CMG. Someone a bit quiet. Go ahead, please. Anyway, nothing heard on that one. So I know Oscar's written it in the comments, but please put it in the. Please say it. Call in and say it for the benefit of people, Oscar, 2E1HWE, people that are just listening. So just call in with your different radios that you were actually using. Over to you, Oscar, from Net Control, 2E1HWE, 2E0UKH.
Echo 1 Hotel Whiskey Echo returning. So this was the radio number 2. So the first radio was Echo Link. Got this a radio, but it's a phone for like acid testers in the middle. This is the Baofeng. This is a analog and also a DMR Baofeng. I'm coming through via 2 meters FM at the moment into a gateway MB7 ISX. So this is the Baofeng, okay, which was the first budget radio I bought, about £70 from the USA. So it's a DMR version, so it's a little bit more money than the usual. I'm just going to go quickly back onto the Yaesu, and then let's just see. There is going to be a difference, but it's so marginal. You know, this is the point I wanted to make. So stand by, and I'll quickly just come back on the next one. The Echo now on the Yaesu. This is a Yaesu FT3D. FT3D. So we're looking at something that's probably 2 to 3 times more in value. So I don't think there's a massive difference, but it is interesting to do this experiment. So I won't hold the net up anymore. Back to Net Control, 2E0UKH from 2 Echo 1 Hotel Whiskey Echo.
Yeah, okay, no, it's very interesting. You've called in with a twist on the usual events, how we normally do things, and I mean, to be honest, they were all, none of them were terrible. Some were louder, some were quieter. So anyway, very interesting experiment. And you know, if you had to say which one which one cost the most. You know, I'm just thinking how to word this. The iPhone, the first one sounded excellent. The second one was a bit quiet. That was the Baofeng. And the last one, which is the FT3D, people were saying sounded the best. But is it worth £200 or £300 more than the original Baofeng? Anyway, thank you for calling in. Very interesting test. Losing my voice here.
Freeze and I'll stand by 2E1HW.
Okay, well, thank you for your, your ideas calling in tonight. Anyway, just reading the comments. Right, we're taking new calls. Tonight we are asking, what is the best way you've done ham radio on a budget? What aerial? Do you build your own aerials? What aerials have you bought or built? What handhelds have you bought? Are you downloading all this free stuff? You know, what is your best way to do ham radio on a budget? And how would you recommend someone new to the hobby to get involved and do ham radio on a budget? This is Net Control 2E0UKH. Something Alpha Bravo portable. Okay, I've got something Alpha Bravo portable. You're number 1. Any other stations? Please go ahead. Right, I do apologise. I've got a few others in the list, so I've just missed off a few sections. So I'm just going to go backtrack. MM7WAB. Go ahead, Harry Paul. Go ahead. Net Control 2E0UKH. If you're still there. Then it's Victor. Then it's DMZ in Argentina.
Mike 7 Whiskey Alpha Bravo portable. Coming in on an MD380 handheld DMR in 12 metre 18 miles away. Sorry about the traffic noise. I'm just outside the village away from the noise.
That's good.
But me personally, I have bought mostly second-hand equipment. I do operate LF up to 5.8 gigahertz. Pretty much most of the bands that are foundation license is allowed. And also a bunch of license exempt bands as well. All with second-hand or very cheap equipment. And my entire station cost is under £900 over the past 2.5 years. So yeah, and personally I'd say get the cheap stuff and the free stuff first and have a play with that before you go laying out a lot of coin. There's so many different aspects, so many different modes, so many different radios. Start with some cheap stuff. Start with the free stuff.
Yes, give it a thumbs up. Thank you, Oscar. Good point.
Free software on that and have a play. Find out what you want to play with, what you want to spend money on before you do it, rather than being disappointed and having to sell them on. And as for antennas, I wouldn't spend money on an antenna. Do your research. The research is worth more than anything else. Build your own antennas, bits of wire. I've spoke round the world, 128 countries, over 10,500 contacts, about 8,000 confirmed, maximum of 10 watts on wire antennas. You don't need big money on antennas. Save that for the radios. From Mike 7 Whiskey Alpha Bravo portable.
Yeah, very, very good information there, Paul. Don't spend money on aerials. If you have to spend money on something to do with aerials, spend it on an analyzer. Get a cheap network VNA analyzer, and you'll be able to make some wonderful aerials. Save money, use it where you have to. And anyway, Harry Paul, that is your nick. I know that's your nickname. His call sign is MM7WAB. Any free software to recommend to people to get them started? Anyway, go ahead, please.
Mike 7 Whiskey Alpha Bravo Portable returning. Well, if you've got a PC, there's Echolink, and there is Dude Star, which will get you on various digital modes, and of course you can get in on the Freestar network with that for free. Might not sound quite as good as an actual hardware radio, but it does the job. And it's free. Hey, what's not to like? You can use it on your existing PC. If you've got an existing Android device, then you've got Echolink, Peanut, and Droid Star, Pocket RxTX, so you can use SDRs to listen on HF, and yeah, there's lots of things you can play with for free. The main thing is speak to other people, ask people, tell them I fancy playing with, XYZ, whatever, and see what people suggest. Communicate with people. That's what the hobby's all about. Ask questions. There's no dumb questions. You might get a dumb answer, but there's no dumb questions. Ask lots of questions, do lots of research before you make a decision, and then dive in and have a play. And once you've found out what you really want to do, then start hunting about.
Shall I click on this one?
Get yourself some nice quality kit to focus on the thing you want to do. Mike 7 Whiskey Alpha Bravo Portable.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Anyway, apologies for... so I'm just getting confused here. Loads of stuff going on the screen. I do apologise for missing you off the list, and then I'll come back to you. Anyway, thank you for your contribution. Next on the list, we've got Victor. All I got was Victor. Didn't get any call sign, so Station Victor, about 5 or 10 minutes ago. Please go ahead. This is Net Control. 2E0 UKH, listening.
From 2 Mike 0 Juliet Victor Romeo. Very good evening, Chris, and good evening to everyone else on the network. I'm not sure where this is going because it sounds to me as if everyone is talking on the lowest possible cost way of getting yourself heard. They want to do, for me personally, I think that audio quality is the most important thing. And I've been using the WWDAH network for something like 7 or 8 years now. Been running my own gateway here in the northeast of Scotland, and I think C4 FM radios on a quality network like Fusion is just absolutely impossible to beat, quite frankly. And it was very interesting to hear Oscar's experiment there with
it was, yeah.
with an Android phone via Echolink, a low-cost mail thing, and then a high-quality C4 FM radio. And I think that proves the point exactly, that it's not all about cost, unfortunately. It's quality is perhaps the most important thing. And one should never, let's be fair, that if you're into motorsport or boating or caravanning or whatever it is, the lowest cost product is never, ever, ever the best. And that is just a sad fact of life, unfortunately. So for that reason, I would say, I'll just take a bit for a second. Sorry about that. So for that reason,
no, it's not Anton. It's just Coke.
The best, if you wanted to go low cost, then simply buy yourself a second-hand Android phone, download Peanut, and you've got an extra.
Okay, he's not convinced.
With quality audio and nothing to worry about. So back to you, Chris, from 0 Juliet Victor Romeo.
Just waiting for the key to unkey. one of the repeaters has held on for a bit. See if I can unkey it. By the way, this waterfall, if you look in the bottom left, if I key up, watch it move. So I'm just demonstrating my waterfall. Yeah, so so out of curiosity, as I appreciate your critical opinion, we like a critical radio report. What radio are you using at the moment there, Victor? Over to you. Argentina is next.
2E0 UKH from 2M0 JVR. At the moment I'm speaking to you on an FTM 300 into a 5-star hotspot, and I'm using the YFF reflectors to get into the All-Star, the 3-star network. 2E0 UKH from 2M0 JVR.
Yeah, it's a different sort of waterfall, Jimbo. Okay, very good. Yes, FTM 300. I've got the FTM 400. Very, very similar. One is touchscreen, one is not. One is FTM 300 is smaller, and it's got a lot of new features, but whether anyone wants to use them is another thing. Anyway, any further comments? And then we're going to hand it over to the next station. We've got something DMZ in Argentina, so that station is next. Any further comments, please? Yeah, Victor, any further comments? Then we're moving it on to the next caller. Net Control 2E0 UKH. Okay, nothing there from Victor.
0 UKH from 2M0 JVR. I'm not sure if you were calling me there, Chris. I just heard my name being called, and you said you were moving on to the next caller. So my apologies if I've jumped in too early for anything. So put it back to you, Chris. 2E0 UKH from 2M0 JVR.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm also trying to remember to leave a pause, so I might have not left a pause, so I apologise. But we're just politely asking any further comments, or shall we move on to the next caller?
I would suggest you move on to the next caller, Chris, from 2M0 JVR.
Okay, we're moving on to the next caller, and I'm just going to mute something going on here. Right, next caller. Now, there's a station in Argentina, something Delta Mike Zulu, and it was quite a long while ago, so hopefully you're still with us. Station in Argentina, something Delta Mike Zulu, go ahead. This is Net Control, a 2E0 UKH. Yeah, it was quite a while ago. I'm not surprised the person has gone or gone to bed. Okay, right. Next station up, we've got... I'm having a lot of problems with people keying up and not leaving a pause. I've got something Alpha Bravo Portable. Something Alpha Bravo Portable. Go ahead, please. Got Chuck there. KK6USY, that guy knows what he's talking about. That is Chuck in America. By the way, Chuck, I'm Net Control tonight on Freestar, going on All-Star. KK6USY, Ham Radio Adventures. Check out his YouTube channel. He's got some very interesting stuff going on, very honest, very good HF operator. I've actually spoke to him on HF. Right, nothing heard from the other station. Something Alpha Bravo Portable. Okay, this is Net Control. I am 2E0UKH. Listening for any further calls. We are asking, how can you do ham radio on a budget? Please call in. We are on Freestar, we are on All-Star, we are on Echolink, DMR, D-Star and Fusion. And this is how you can connect. These are all the different ways to connect. These are the nodes that actually connected at the moment on All-Star and Freestar. This is a live look at my node, and this is my main setup. And please call in with any ways you would recommend people connect to ham radio on a budget. Net Control 2E0UKH. So just taking call signs, probably last round of call signs.
Form 9, stroke, Golf 6, Oscar Juliet Bravo, Scott in the southern Philippines.
Philippines, yeah. Philippines, Scott, that's all I've got. Okay, got Scott in the Philippines. Are you able to call in, Chuck, K6USY, KK6USY? Okay, we got Scott in the Philippines. Anyone else wants to call in to Net Control? This is Chris, 2E0UKH, asking, how would you do ham radio on a budget? How would you recommend other people get into it with a fairly small outlay, you know, without spending a fortune? What would you recommend? Please call in now. This is Net Control 2E0UKH. Okay, nothing heard, so we will go over to Scott in the Philippines. And I did not catch your call sign because I did not. Please, when you key up, please leave a few seconds gap, or it cuts off the first few seconds of your over. Over to you, Scott in the Philippines. Waiting to log your call sign.
Yeah, this station, Delta Uniform 9, stroke, Golf 6, Oscar Juliet Bravo.
Golf 6.
Delta Uniform 9, stroke, Golf 6, Oscar Juliet Bravo.
Oscar.
Well, if you discount Echolink on an Android phone, then the sort of setup I have is a pretty low cost. I'm speaking on it right now, and I trust the audio quality is at least acceptable. My handset is a Bafeng handset. Because we're close to China, I can pick these up for the equivalent of about £7.
Blimey, £7.
And it's connected to my All-Star node, one I put together myself. I don't know how much that would cost in the UK. I would have thought under £100 if you build the node yourself. Putting together an All-Star node is not that difficult. You know, it's a nice little project. Take you 2 or 3 nights.
7-3 Andy Kinch. Cheers, man.
And you have the satisfaction of knowing that you've built your own equipment, really. Once the All-Star node is going, goodness me, you can connect everywhere in the world. So that's my take on low-cost amateur radio, and that's what I'm using right now. Back to
this is Chuck's YouTube channel, by the way.
Net Control from Davao City, southern Philippines.
Yeah, okay, Scott in the Philippines, DU9, what was it, G6OJB, stroke G6OJB. That is awesome. That is totally awesome. It costs seven, because you're so near to China. It costs you about the equivalent of £7 for the Baofeng. Is that the UV5R? Back to you. Are you still watching, Chuck? K6 USY.
It's one called a UV88.
UV88.
Licensing here for amateur radio is incredibly strict. What you do is you get a purchase order for the radio you want, and then you go to the national NTC national, well, whatever it stands for.
Radiodity GD77 looks like it to me.
You take your purchase order, you get it approved, you take the approved order to the vendor, and the vendor gives you the radio. You then take the radio back to the licensing authority. They take down its number and they add it to your license. So on my license, all the equipment I have, which is only 3 items, is listed. Now, not all the Baofeng products are approved here. The 888S is not, for example, possibly because of the harmonics that go all over the bit. But the one I'm using, UV88, is one of the approved ones, which is why I have it. Now, if I was a local, if I was a Pinoy, I probably just would buy an old radio because I would know how to handle the situation. But I'm a foreigner and I've been living in the Philippines for 13 years and I'm very happy here. So I just tend to follow all the laws so as I don't get into trouble of any sort. But it's a convoluted story, but that's why I have a UV88.
Very interesting, yes. Okay, well, thank you so much for calling in. You know, very, very interesting information you've got for us, and I appreciate you taking the time to call in. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next final wave of callers. Before we do, have you got any recommendations for software? You know, you've said about radios, what you would recommend. Have you got any recommendations for software on a PC or iPhone or Android to do ham radio on a budget? This is Net Control 2E0 UKH, and then I'm going to take one more round of check-ins.
As far as software goes, if you're in my position in a remote part of the world, I use the...
Yeah, call in. I could do with a few more calls, Oscar.
Node Remote on my Android phone, which I use to control my All-Star node. I can't praise that software enough. Very, very
It's just so hot, man. Flipping roasting,
works excellently well. You combine that with a Echo Link on the phone, and then you might go for Zello as well. You know, using this sort of simple setup, I can have you know, all kinds of QSOs as I walk the dog close to my QTH here. So that's the way I would go. Back to Net Control from Davao City, Southern Philippines.
Yeah, okay, Scott. Yeah, many thanks for calling in. Got a lot going on this end. This is very interactive net, trying to keep everyone happy. And yes, when I first started this net, I'm not sure if it went out over the air, but we were talking about free stuff. You know, get everything, software and apps and, you know, email. Get Echolink, get Echolink, get Peanut, get DroidStar, Zello, you know, get all the free stuff. Get a call sign at gmail.com. Get all the free stuff. And then start from the lower cost stuff, you know, get some Baofengs, get some Retovis RT23s, they're very good handhelds. They've got a dedicated volume and channel selector on. They've got repeater mode. They've got dual transmit buttons and proper dual receive. Start from the bottom upwards. This hobby is not for everybody, so when you first start you don't want to spend a fortune on it. Anyway, you have been a very interesting caller. Thank you so much for calling in. I shall say 7-3, and thank you for calling in. This is Net Control 2E0 UKH. Someone's DTMFing in. Okay, so someone is doing DTMF. Anyway, I'm going to take another round or another 2 rounds of callers. Please go ahead. We've got loads of people listening, loads of people watching, and listening for any further calls. Please say your call sign. Please leave a 5-second gap before you transmit, and then say your call sign and your operator name. We are asking the question tonight on Net Control: how would you do ham radio on a budget? What would you spend your money on?
Mike 0 Uniform Kilo Bravo stroke alternative. Bruce.
M0 UKB. I can see Fran there. Are you going to call in Fran? M6YIK. Let's just let Fran in. I can see Fran there, one of my friends there. Okay, we'll take Bruce, M0 UKB. I can see Fran there, M6YIK. Fran. He's called in before. Anyway, over to Bruce, M0 UKB. So that is Bruce. He is one of the directors on the Freestar Network. Thank you for everything you're doing on the system to allow incredible worldwide communication like this tonight. So the question we're asking Bruce tonight is, how would you do ham radio on a budget? Someone who's only got $50 to spend, that's it. What would you recommend? Over to you, Bruce.
Right, well, if somebody is on a tight, limited budget, then RF, the trusty Bayer thing, is probably not a bad starter for 10. Well, quite literally for 10. You can get them for about £10 or so. That's probably not a bad start. And then as far as software goes, I'm actually using the TeamSpeak software, which is free on the PC, and I think if you buy it on the app, it's about £1 or something like that. It's not a lot of money, and it's very, very good. You can obviously get onto things like the IRN, you can get onto Freestar and things like that on it. Quality is really good, and it's excellent for this sort of thing. So yeah, if I was going to do something on a budget for under 50 quid, then that's probably where I would start, and or look for something slightly older, but a quality brand on the second-hand market, because you never know, you might pick a bargain up. Right, hopefully that answers the question, Chris. Back to you, and thanks for the kind words. 2E0 UKH from M0 UKB.
Yeah, okay, Bruce, M0 UKB from Net Control, 2E0 UKH. By the way, for some of our new listeners, Bruce is Net Control on a Wednesday night. I was listening on Wednesday night, and we have got a GOTA event coming up soon, in about a week's time, so not sure if Oscar's there, would like to publicise it, so thank you for your recommendations. You said the Bayer family, you said get the software, get everything you can get for free, TeamSpeak, it's only £1. Yes, that's a good point. And Anyway, I'm just going to, I'll say 7-3 to Bruce. Thank you for calling in. And before we disappear, because we've been going an hour and a half, if anyone doesn't know, for us it's very hot in the UK. I'm absolutely sweltering, so I don't want to keep all my windows open and disturb everybody, you know. So I'm absolutely sweltering. But before we shut down, I'm going to listen out for Oscar 2E1HWE to tell us all about Gateways on the Air. GOTA, that's Gateways on the Air, GOTA.org.uk. Are you still there, Oscar?
Hotel Whiskey Echo returning on the worldwide digital analog ham net. Thank you, Chris. And yeah, there is an event going on in a week's time from the 12th to the 20th of June called GOTA, which is Gateways on the Air. If anyone doesn't know about it yet, then please check out the website. That's the best source of information, which is gota.org.uk. So that's GOTA.org.uk, and most of the information is on there. There is prizes to be won, compliments of our sponsor Moonraker, so thank you to Chris Taylor and all the team there. They've been very supportive, and yeah, basically it's about connecting simplex gateways up, these little gems that people don't always know about. These simplex gateways, connecting them up for an 8-day period to create QSO activity on the bands. And we're just saying to people, go out, go portable, and work through one of your local simplex gateways on RF, on a handheld, on a mobile radio, whatever you want to do. You know, it's not a serious contest, it's all for fun. And I know, Chris, you're also going out portable for your next event in the Go-To spirit for the next one that you'll be doing in a couple of weeks' time. So maybe before you go, you can just tell us what you're up to for the event there. Thanks for holding that. It's been a great evening. 2E0UKH from 2 Echo 1 Hotel Whiskey Echo.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be going out. If you could just remind us on the date, I think it's a week yesterday. It goes on for about a week and it starts a week yesterday. Sorry, yeah. Just remind us of the date, please, Oscar. You know, it'd be better if you just remind us of the date. The 12th of June to the 20th. So, is that next Friday? I think that's next Friday. Something like next Friday for a week. And you go out portable and you work stations, you work gateways on the air. So, not a repeater. They are gateways. So, there is a website where you can search on a map and it shows you the gateways in your area. So yeah, 8 days, going on for 8 days. Anyway, any further information to add, Oscar, on the gateways on the air info? Over to you.
Yeah, 2E1HW. The only thing to add, Chris, is you know, if you're new to a hobby, or even if you're experienced, or you know, don't be shy. This isn't a serious competition. It's not a 5 and 9. What's your locator square? It's not about that. It's all about having a meaningful QSO with an activator. So there'll be people going out.
Selby Ham Radio is smiling. Hi, Selby.
Or any other place of significant interest, you know, and they'll be calling through a local gateway, calling CQ, and they'll be coming back to people. And all you have to do is go onto the gota.org.uk website. If you manage to talk to one of these activators, and all you do is you go on there, click on the link and submit your contact. You only have to make one contact to be entered into the prize draw to win the radio that's been donated. Really nice, portable, Senhao 8800 radio. All the details are on the Facebook. So please, if you haven't already done so, Freestar International is the Facebook page. Get on there. Updates every day. Freestar International is the Facebook chat about the GOTA event if anyone wants to watch that, and that is on Chris's channel, The Digital Analog Ham. Check the video
In the
out,
comments,
guys.
that's the one there in the comments.
And
That's
thank
our
you.
interview.
No more from me. 2E1HWE, QRC.
Yeah, okay, Oscar. This is Net Control 2E0UKH, and thank you so much for explaining stuff. And if anyone would like to know more about gateways on the air, just go into YouTube and search for what is GOTA. What is, and it's the letters, Golf Oscar Tango Alpha. So what is G0TA? And that will tell you everything you need to know about gateways on the air. Anyway, Oscar, thank you so much for calling in, and calling in to explain to everybody else what is going on. Anyway, we're going to wind this stream down. I'm extremely hot and bothered here. I'm trying to escape, but it's all good fun, and lots of people enjoying the net. I'll take one further round. You know, I'll take one for the team here. One further round. Please log in. This is the final round, so just say your call. Leave a 5-second gap, then key up and say your call sign and your name, and we'll get you in the call book. Get you in the logbook, sorry, in the last round. So last round of callers. Net Control 2E0UKH. Amateur Radio UK have to go to bed. Okay, 7-3. Cheers, man. Thanks for watching. White noise there. Didn't catch a call sign.
This is G0SYR Golf 0 Sierra.
Golf 0 Sierra. Yeah, the Golf 0 Sierra station. Go ahead. I just got Golf 0 Sierra. Go ahead, please, sir. Didn't hear it on.
0 Sierra Yankee Romeo.
Didn't hear that on the radio. On the on my note. That's strange.
Brian, and I'm on the radio. I'm about 40 miles from Austin. Sorry, I'm about 40 miles, so we're just about making it into
Very interesting. Thank you, Hayden. Hayderam M7TXK. Very enjoyable net. Thank you, my friend. Why don't you call in? Are you able to call in? Hey, I find it hard to say that. Hayderam. Someone keying up there. Yeah. Okay. Well. The question we are asking tonight is, you know, how have you done ham radio on a budget? What equipment have you bought, or do you just use the free stuff, the apps and stuff? You know, how do you do ham radio, or recommend to someone else to do ham radio on a budget? That is the question for tonight. This is Net Control. Go ahead, please. Golf 0 Sierra Yankee Romeo. Go ahead, Net Control 2E0UKH. And is Fran there? Fran, I can see Fran in the comments. I can see Fran.
Yes, 2E0UKH from G0SYR
M6YIK, I think it is.
Yes, I'm afraid this is my first contact using the system. I spoke to Oscar a week or so ago. And I suppose I would recommend looking around for some second-hand equipment. Mine,
definitely, that's good advice.
At the moment,
yeah.
Is a 1970s radio. Dates from the 1970s.
How's the internet, by the way?
Fox Tango 221 and FT 221.
I've had my internet line repaired, so. How would you rate the internet, the video, and the audio? Everything okay?
CTCSS tones. So I suppose software radio. So just back to you there, Chris. Just interested to see if I could get into Oscar's gateway. He's only running 1 watt, and to reach me at 40 miles away is quite a distance for them. 2E0 UKH.
100%. Love it, Jimbo. Love it. I don't get that very often. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm getting some very good comments. My internet is very good tonight, so that's very good. And thank you for calling in. And yeah, Oscar is... apparently you are using Oscar's gateway MB7 ISX, and you are sounding pretty good. You're sounding pretty good. I can tell you coming in over RF. And anyway, thank you so much for calling in. I'll just hand it back to you for your final. If you've got any other further information or advice for anyone that would like to do ham radio on a budget. And if there's no further traffic, I will wind things down. So over to you.
Or I will just say 73's then nice to be on the network this evening. All the best to everyone listening.
Yeah, thanks,
this
man.
Is George 0 Sierra Yankee Romeo clear.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you so much for calling in. I always appreciate it when someone takes the trouble to call in. I mean, I am looking at the node list. There's loads and loads. There's hundreds of connections. If anyone wants to throw their call sign out there and just, you don't have to have any traffic. You can just say your call sign and no traffic. No traffic. I'll acknowledge you on the air. And although you won't need to come back with a comment. So anyone out there that would like to get their call sign on the logbook, then throw your call sign out there. And if you don't have any traffic, say no traffic. This is Net Control 2E0 UKH. Yes, Jimbo. Don't throw it out completely, though. Something November Zulu, no traffic.
Kilo India 6, Bravo Lima, no traffic.
Kilo India 6, Bravo Lima, no traffic. Okay, got two stations there with no traffic. Something November Zulu. Could you go again, please, on your call sign? We just got the November Zulu, so just fill me on the first bit of the call sign, please.
Victor Echo 7 November Zulu, Victor Echo 7 November Zulu. Evening, Chris, and hi to Bruce and Shane and Oscar and everybody over there. I've just been working in the shack on building another node, actually, and just listening in the background. But when you made the invitation,
I'm on Freestar, and these are the ways to connect to Freestar.
Victor Echo 7 November Zulu, Adrian in Vancouver.
Yeah, all understood. Got you there, Adrian in Vancouver. Victor Echo 7 November Zulu. It's a bit awkward. Freestart it, all start it. It's just a characteristic of the system. When you key up, you have to leave a few seconds, otherwise it cuts out the first bit. So very unfortunate. And I always ask, is there anyone who wants to get their call sign in the logbook? There's a lot of people at work, people that are listening, people that can't take part, but would like to be interactive. So. Thank you so much for calling in. The other station, which was no traffic, was I've got K1 or KIGBL. Go ahead with sorry, that was a no traffic station, so ignore that one. Anyway, this is Net Control. We've been going 2 hours. Very hot here in the UK. I'll say 7-3. And thank you so much for everyone for taking part. 2E0 UKH.
Yeah, Net Control, that was Kilo India
Yeah, thank you so much. Kilo India 6, Bravo Lima. I think I do need glasses now. And you have no. I know you said no traffic, but there's a lot of people that would like to get, just get the call sign out there. This net, which is just ending now, is provided by Freestar. It's going out on all the partners on the system, repeaters and nodes and stuff. And this is an interactive net. This is going out on YouTube on Digital Analog Ham YouTube channel. Thank you for taking part. 7-3. This is net control, and we're going to hand this back to all the repeaters all around the world. So normal traffic can resume now. Thank you for letting us do the net.
Returning. Thank you for the great net again, Chris, and much appreciated for your time on doing it. 73s.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Peter, M7BQC. I'm no net controller, but I'm trying to do my best. I don't feel I'm no net controller. I'm more of a radio big mouth. Talking on the radio all day. But I do my best. It's quite a big responsibility. Every couple of weeks, you make a net, and you try and get people motivated and inspire people. And anyway, I'm glad you've enjoyed it. You got to do your best, and that's what I hope I've done. Thanks, Peter. M7BQC from Net Control, 2E0 UKH.
UKH, M0 UKB.
Yeah, M0 UKB, go ahead, we're still live. If you want to tell anyone anything, about Freestar, what we've got planned coming up in the future. The net is over, but we're still live, so if you want to let people know what's going on, the airwaves are yours. Go ahead.
Zero UKB returning. Yeah, no problem at all there, Chris. I just want to say, I reference your last comment, I think you're doing a grand job there, Chris, and your nets are always very informative, very helpful to either existing hams or newly licensed amateurs, or even those that are shortwave listeners that are thinking again to the hobby. So keep it up, Chris. Grand job from myself and everybody on the network. Thanks so much. 7-3 there, Chris, from M0 UKB.
Yeah, okay, many thanks for the words of encouragement there. Highly appreciate that. You run out of material after a while, and I can't help thinking it all sounds a bit the same. But anyway, we've had probably 30 or 40 call-ins tonight, and that's just awesome. So we're getting people getting on the air, trying new things, and learning from our experience, and pointing people in the right direction. Okay, 7-3, 2E0 UKH, clear. So just giving everyone a 7-3. 7-3 everybody watching the YouTube.